Welcome to Sports Connection. I'm Darrin Joins, Williamson County Schools Athletic Director. I'm here with my partner, Mr. Tate Mathews. And Tate, I think it's a great week to not only talk about football playoffs, but I think it's an ideal time to talk about a third-team state championship for WCS.
It is a great time, and I didn't think about it until you just said that, and I started having a flashback of sitting at this table last year, and I think you were going, 1, 2, 3.
It's exciting. It's very exciting.
Can anybody else boast this?
I'm sure they can't, no. It's probably can't boast it for the year, honestly. 3 team titles, 2 runners-up, 1 individual champion. Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this. We thought they had a chance for sure, but last week at this time, if we would have said we're going to win 1 soccer state title, did you think it was Page? Or did you think it was Ravenwood? I think those were the 2 that we really thought had the shot.
Yeah. I mean, I think they both did. I think
pretty equal.
I think that Nolensville moving up out of AAA, I think that helped make AAA you got to beat the people you got to beat, right? So, but I do think that weakened AAA. I think they would have been there too. Probably would have seen an all-Wilco final if it could have happened that way. So, yeah, I mean, I thought they both had a good chance, but probably, yeah, if I had a bet last week, which we don't.
No, of course not.
We don't bet. I would have gone Ravenwood, yeah. But and we'll talk about it. Little birdie from East Tennessee told me Bearden was pretty flipping good.
And it turns out they were. Didn't lose a match all year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Bearden was obviously tough. Congratulations, Coach Clapp and the Page Patriots for winning the school's only non-volleyball state championship. And it's been a few years, right? Over 10 years at least. Yeah. In that championship, they defeated Murfreesboro Central Magnet for the 3rd time this season, this time 4-2. Pretty good district, by the way.
Yes.
That those 2 line up and play in the final. They were down 1-0 early. Emerson Ladd ties the match at 1-0, 15 minutes left in the first half. That's the way it stays. Second half starts. Listen, they were motivated, fired up. 3 goals. Kate Nelson, Reagan Hamilton, Haley Zender took a 4-1 lead. Murfreesboro Central scores a goal that didn't matter late. I mean, it was a dominant second half for Page.
Yeah, you got to love that. And you get a 4-1 at that point, tough to come back for against a team like Page. So you're right. That was a commanding lead for sure. They held on. Congratulations. Very cool. Not disrespectfully, but I just don't remember it, and so I don't think it was. I don't think there was much success. I could be wrong. I don't think there was much success at Page in soccer before Coach Clapp got there. And for, so long, he's coached both. And, he's built that program up. So to see him take a team there and finally get that gold ball, very, very cool, man.
Had some players from the boys team there, and they were very excited for him, you could tell.
Yeah.
Something they talk about, obviously, is breaking through and getting that title. They'll have a shot in boys, too.
No doubt about it.
Hey, in the semifinals, really, to me, that felt like the final. I was there for that one as well. They beat Greenville 1-0. Abby Thornton with a goal with 16 minutes remaining. First round was a pretty easy one over Signal Mountain 4-1. If Page and Greenville played 10 times, I think it would be 5 each. Murfreesboro Central, you could tell it was definitely trending towards Page.
Yeah. And you know what? We saw it last year, right? But if there is a sport where it can be scoreless and it still be exciting, it's soccer. Going back and forth, but then when you do get that first goal to break it that late, it's pretty cool, man. That
facility, by the way.
Oh yeah.
The Chai Memorial.
Do you think anybody wants to come back?
No, I mean the final was on turf. It was a soccer-only field, not all those extra lines. It's pretty interesting when you see a soccer field like that, a turf field that's just for soccer. The question's going to be this. The boys' coaches are going to want to play there too, but Spring Fling. So you move all of it. I think eventually what will happen, if they end up in different places, if they're somewhere besides Chattanooga, I can see soccer remaining in Chattanooga because it is obvious that's where it needs to be.
Yeah, I agree. And the soccer people will be vocal about that, I would think.
And I think Coach Plummer, who former Hendersonville coach, who's now part of TACA, had a lot to do with that, doing a great job with TACA. So I can see that remaining. Definitely the girls.
No brainer.
No brainer. In AAA, congratulations to Ravenwood. They defeated Franklin County 3-1 before losing to Houston in the semis 2-0. It snaps back-to-back titles for Ravenwood. And here's this week's gem. Ravenwood and Houston have played the last 4 years in the semis.
Yep.
Now Houston's won 2, Ravenwood's won 2. The only thing that didn't happen for Houston, they get to the final and they got beat 3-1 by Bearden, which obviously was a pretty decent score because Bearden dominated. They beat Nolensville 5-0. Congratulations to Coach Shelton for getting that team there.
Yep.
But 5-0, that's a big margin. Bearden was by far the best team this year.
That's right. It was theirs to lose, and they never took the foot off the pedal for sure.
Hey, speaking of dominance, remember we talked about the region of death with cross country? The Brentwood boys and girls, no surprise, they win the 6 AAA meet there in Hendersonville. And just to give our audience an idea, just a reminder, the top 3 teams, the entire team makes it, and then 5 additional runners. Pretty good showing there, Tate, from WCS on the girls' side.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We let somebody slide in at 7, and then we took 8th. Brentwood, Independence, Ravenwood, Nolensville, Centennial, Franklin. I don't know who the
I think it might have been Columbia.
participant was that slid in at 7, and then Summit. And I'll let you do it. There's a nice little side note about the Brentwood first place finish.
Yes, and keep in mind they haven't lost a meet in 2 years. 2 of their top 5 runners weren't able to participate, and they still won. Lydia Cromwell wins the thing for Brentwood. Janie Halterman second. Rachel Hawes of Brentwood third. So they get first, third, fifth, 12th without 2 of their top 5 runners, which is, pretty good showing there from Brentwood. It's really almost comical.
Yes, and you mentioned Janie. You bring in Julia at 11th. Independence finished second. Emma Pearson was in there as well. The Halterman girls could have finished top 5 just on their own.
Yes, we got a lot of families that do that kind of thing.
What is the deal with running families?
I don't know. It's not like one of them runs. It's like the whole.
That's right.
The whole family.
Or they're like our families and none of them run.
Hey, congratulations, Nolensville, Circe Mooney, Haley Stigall from Nolensville, both qualified for the state meet as individuals. Reese Ammon from Centennial qualified, Karina Beard of Franklin. On the boys' side, top 3 teams, Brentwood, Ravenwood, Franklin, and like you said, this time it was top 7. Where all of our teams, Indy 4th, Centennial 5th, Summit 6th, Nolensville 7th.
So you think about the sports that football, you know what I'm saying? That you think they hate being put in these regions? Remember how Dixon, and I love him, you know that, what I think of, or you do too, what we think of Jay Palace, and I don't mean this funny. He had a proposal.
The get out of Williamson County proposal?
Yeah, for the TSAA, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like, in those games, they hadn't won one in 5 years, and they had been outscored 37 to 260 something.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
And look what's happening. Coach Burns got them over there. They're on a little bit of a win streak right now.
No doubt. Hey, Miles Raymer from Ravenwood wins the individual title, and then we go Brody Chapman, Callahan Fielder, both from Brentwood. But if you look down the list here, all the way down through top 22, the top 22 were all from Williamson County, which again, seems like we're making it up, but we're really not. Congratulations to these individuals who made it. Nate Martinez from Indy, Braden Trahan from Indy, Karsten Hansley from Indy made it as individuals, as well as Ethan Grove from Centennial, and again, Finn Pearson, another Indy runner. So very well represented. Hey, and we do need to shout out our AAA teams.
No doubt about it.
Fairview, stepping up again, Tate.
Girls and boys both win. Do you think there are any odds on who took first place on the girls' side?
I'm going to say Miss Andrea.
Yes, she did. Lauren Sloan second, and Blair Visser 8th.
On the boys' side, Matthew, right? Brother Matthew.
The Andrea family doing what they do. He got second.
Again.
Do what?
Again, families.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And we knew about them last year. Andre
Giglio.
Sorry, Andre. He just won the all-cross country name of the day. Aiden Ellis, Fairview. Jacob Goldstein, Fairview at 9th. Aiden was 7th, and Landon Bassett at 10th. Fairview, thanks for playing, everybody else that was in AW that day. I don't know if Grinder Switch was in there or what.
And then the Page boys and girls, runner-up in their region.
Yeah.
On the girls' side, again, what do we have in common there?
A family affair.
Sophia and Gabrielle Boutros finished 3rd and 5th. On the boys' side, Aiden Mueller finishes in the top 5. So congratulations to all those runners. Looking forward to the state championship this week. And again, I'm going Brentwood girls to bring home a title. And we'll have a lot of schools do well, and individuals. We'll have a chance for some individual titles too.
We're going to get a team title. You can go ahead and bank on that. We might get 2. Not to put you on the spot, but I'm confident enough to do this, that I'm not putting you in a bad spot. Now that you are the knower of all things cross-country, where is the state cross-country meet?
In Hendersonville.
Saunders Ferry?
Yes.
Yep, okay.
I'm assuming it'll eventually come back to us.
We go.
Remember, it got moved because of the pandemic.
The pandemic. Yeah.
So they moved it, and then they found out it was a pretty good location out there in Hendersonville. Had the middle school race out there too, which that was the region.
Did Mayor Cooper mess that up?
We messed. I don't want to go on record saying messed it up, but he definitely impacted it not being there. Because people don't realize it's actually in Davidson County.
That's why I said Mayor Cooper.
Yes, where we were having it before out there at Steeplechase.
Thanks.
They didn't cancel the Steeplechase. I know.
Isn't that amazing? You want me to really throw a zinger? Montgomery Bell Academy got to have their graduation. Do a little digging on that.
Let's talk about some football. Hey, let's talk about the final season, our final week of the regular season. Starting out with Brentwood Centennial, all kinds of playoff implications. End up working out, I think, the way that we thought it would.
Yes.
Which is Summit first, Ravenwood second, Brentwood third, Indy fourth in terms of 6A. But they had to go out and do it. Brentwood takes care of Centennial 37-7. 5 straight wins now for Brentwood. They've won 6 of their last 7. Centennial ends the year 6-4, only 1-4 in the region. But congratulations to Coach Kreisky and Centennial, a program trending in the right direction. And really, they probably got caught up as much as anything of the region changing.
Well, yeah, no doubt.
Most years they would have made it.
Well, here's the bottom line. They're in the toughest region. It's like the SEC West. They're in the toughest region in the state. It's not even close. And outside of the region, they won all the games that they had scheduled. So 6-4. I think that's fantastic. I think congratulations to Coach Kreisky and the kids. The future is definitely bright for the Cougars. I think without a doubt. And, I guess that's what I'd say. I think he got the most out of them he could have gotten out of them this year.
I agree.
And I was never one you are. I think you can lay your head down on your pillow at night as a coach if you did that.
No question, and that's very well said. And they're going to continue to build on this season.
No doubt about it. 5 straight wins for Brentwood. We talked about this. This is a good team. That record was really sneaky.
How'd Scotty Collins do the other night?
I tell you what, he is. Boy, he's durable, isn't he? 3 rushing touchdowns on the night. He had 20-plus carries again, I believe. He's really become, well, not become, he is. He's a workhorse, man. But, yeah, I don't know. Last 3, I know 4 games he's over 10 touchdowns. He's been on fire. But here's what I love, and I know you're going to talk about the offense. On defense, Carter Patton, 7 tackles and a sack.
Yeah.
Seth Carter, Jake Brock, 4.5 tackles. You notice anything? Adam Fontesha, interception. He keeps popping up. The guy's around the ball. He's a ball hawk.
He made some big plays in the playoffs last year as a receiver.
Yeah.
Wasn't he on the other end of that unbelievable Granzow play? Am I wrong? I feel like he might have.
You're usually.
I feel like he might have been the guy that made the play because Merrill was out.
Big time players make big time.
That's
plays,
right.
Man.
No question.
But that keeps popping up. That's not, Interceptions just don't, maybe one, an overthrow or whatever. You have multiple interceptions that, you got a knack for it, and that changes games, especially this time of year.
Big game, again, for Davis White at quarterback. Aaron Walton, another 100-yard receiving night and a touchdown. So, when I look at the teams, now, obviously Summit, right? But if you're talking about where the throws and the rushes are pretty equal and effective, Brentwood may be at the top. It's about 50-50, right?
Yeah, no doubt. And if you talk to the other coaches, they'll tell you Brentwood played Summit the best of the four. Independence, Ravenwood, and Brentwood. Summit struggled the most with Brentwood.
See you in week 2, old Sparty.
Yeah. Guess what? You're going to get another shot at it.
No question. Hey, shout out to Cannon Plowman. Centennial, 40 yards passing, 57 rushing. Kanai Johnson with a 95-yard kickoff return for Centennial. Hey, this next matchup's the one that, even though I did pick it, and I was the only one, I had to get back. I had to get refocused. Not quite enough to catch you, obviously, but got to refocus here for playoffs. I was surprised at that score. Fairview 14, Waverly 49. You just wonder, with the tragedy that Waverly had, and you look at the brackets, they may be a team. It's one of those stories, right? You go back and look at that. They had the flood that we all know about. It was just terrible in that community. The only loss was to White House. That was the game that was played down in Nissan Stadium. They could be one of those teams that they make a serious run. Obviously, they can handle adversity.
They can handle adversity, yeah. Hey, whatever happens in this football game doesn't compare to what we've already been through, and I'm sure Coach Bolden's talking to them about that. But, yeah, you're right. And that loss to White House was 3 points, 4 points.
Very close, yep.
Good football team. The loss does not surprise me. The point differential does. That was it.
Layden,
and especially with, go ahead. Yeah, especially with Layden, when you look at that, you think, oh man, Layden must.
Yeah, what were his stats, Tate?
22 for 149 and a touchdown. That looks to me like things were going well, So, well, I know what it was. They big plays on defense. Waverly hit them with big play after big play. Couldn't tackle them. How to get you beat.
Jacob Clevenger also with a rushing touchdown for Fairview. Jonathan Perkison, 10 tackles. Maverick Catuli, 8 tackles, 2 for a loss. Maverick, if I messed that up, I apologize.
I think you nailed it.
I think I did too.
That was strong. Very impressive.
Franklin and Summit, this was one that we knew what the outcome would be. Tough year for Franklin and Coach Melton, but kept playing, kept working, and I was glad to see great night in his last game for Franklin from Bryce Sparks.
Yep.
17 rushes, 167 yards and a touchdown, so good for that young man. Great young man. They kept having the right attitude, but just too much with Summit. And people might have forgotten, that's the last game that Summit lost was to Franklin. I think
it was.
Week 4 last week, week 4 last year.
Last year they were 5A Summit, losing to 6A Franklin. But you're right. Very good. You did, as always, you did your homework.
Listen, man.
Hey, I'm with you, man. What 1-9. Obviously, that's not what you had in mind for your senior year. But Bryce Sparks never, he never gave up. He gave it everything he had. Carried the ball the majority of the time. Which, what does that mean? He took a lot of hits this year and 167 yards against the Summit defense. Now I know they probably pulled their starters some point in the second half, but still, that's a strong night. So happy for him. Here's what I love. I always love this because some other guys are getting their opportunities. Justin Lamb, we're big fans of Justin Lamb.
Very
on
big
this show.
fans.
He always sends out the stats. I think Justin gets the stats out faster than anybody on Friday night.
About the time the game ends.
I don't even know that he's off the sideline yet. And I always love reading them because, I want to see what kind of crazy stuff Destin did. Austin Gruters, 85 yards rushing and a touchdown. Young man got in his opportunity to play. He made the most of it. Awesome.
Also, Dominic Hollis, Aiden Bird, Brandon King with touchdowns. Destin Wade, only 82 yards passing and 67 rushing, but he didn't play much.
What were the 67 yards rushing? How many carries was that?
2. That's 33 and a half a carry. I mean, it's
come on.
Incredible. Mr. Football, I think he's got a good shot at Mr. Football, and if not, Dr. Qualls is going to go nuts. He's already got his campaign to go nuts if he doesn't win.
And see, now that he's not in this position, he feels like he can speak more for those media guys. There's a storm brewing, Mr. Wayne.
I think he's going to win, though. And I think Keaton's going to be a finalist.
I don't know how he can't, man.
Incredible.
I mean, Jordan James, hey, but this is different.
Well, it's just obvious when you watch it that it's not normal. It reminds me when I was at Beach with Jalen Hurd.
Right.
I've said that's the most dominant high school player I've seen night in and night out in any sport was Jalen, the way he dominated games. Destin, it's the same thing.
Yes.
It's like he's playing a different sport.
Right.
It's like did you see the commercials that had the kids trick-or-treating and they had a kid, it was like a grown man, but he was posing as Derrick Henry. And the guy opening the door is like, hey, you're not a kid. He's like, I'm 11 years old. It's supposed to be Derrick Henry as a kid, and he's like this giant.
I like it.
It's the same kind of thing. It's just so dominant.
Yes.
It's unbelievable.
Tecmo Bowl, man.
That's what it is. Nolensville, 35, Franklin County, 14. We thought that would happen, but that margin of victory, trending in the right direction. Nolo wants Page, and they're going to get him in the second round.
I think so, too. In Station Camp, hey, the greatest year they've had in years, falter a little bit towards the
That loss to Portland was bad.
That loss, yeah, really hurt him. And then to Mount Juliet. So now what do you get is Nolensville. You're exactly right. I was talking to somebody this weekend, and they were asking which game to go to radio-wise. And I said, I'd go to the Station Camp Nolensville game for a couple of reasons. One, I think it's going to be a good game. Two, Nolensville is going to go in there with a 4-6 record and quite possibly beat them.
Definitely.
I don't want to give away my pick yet. But, hey, Kobe Walton, back on track. 3 different receivers, I believe, 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers again. Sampson, again, a big night. And the great thing is, which we knew, Coach Derrick is a defensive coach by trade. He's a head coach now, but his true love is defensive secondary play and defense. And we knew they'd get that fixed. The defense is playing better. Nolensville's got a chance to make a run in the playoffs.
Page, 35, Lincoln County, 6. They finished the year 9-1, number 1 seed in the playoffs. They'll host Wilson Central. Jake McNamara, again, over 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. Receptions in terms of receiving touchdowns, Boy Smith, Michael Mayer, Max Collins, Cason Walker. And Max had a pretty good night, number of yards there, didn't he?
9 receptions, 151 yards. Here's what I love.
Nice job, Max.
Nice. We'll throw you some more balls next week. Jake's stats were in the first half.
Incredible.
He's another one, man. I don't know where it goes. Have they released? They haven't released the Mr. Football.
No.
Yeah.
He'll be a finalist, surely.
He's got to be in it. And he's another one. I hope he's not penalized. You know, we missed a game. We missed basically a game and a half. And then he's come out a lot. Now, if they play him even 3 quarters in some of these games, those stats are crazy. So I hope he doesn't get penalized for that, because these could have been 500-yard nights. And you mentioned that one loss to 6A Independence, who's in the playoffs. Great year for Coach Rathbone. Our man Eric Hazard, another one of the stable of running backs that we've got there with a touchdown. And Nolensville wants them. They think they're closer than the 40-22 loss that they had. So I think they're going to get them, but be careful what you wish for. Mr. McNamara is something.
He really is. Final game of the week was Ravenwood Independence. It was also the WCTV game of the week. Ravenwood wins 20-10. We had game day there. Listen, the weather was tough. We had a little early start. We braved through it. Worked out for Ravenwood. I was a little bit nervous because they were down at the half 3-0. Now, Chris Parson didn't play.
Correct.
That had something to do with it. But I thought, man, did we mess them up coming out here? Did we jinx them by being there at game day?
Well, and as the drone man said, game day's undefeated at Ravenwood for Ravenwood. So, yes, you had to start thinking that too. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I mean, that was just, not that Independence cared. They're like, we don't care if we jinx it or not. But Ravenwood ends up getting the number 2 seed. Now, This will lead us into the play of the week, but I thought it was interesting. Down 3-0 at the half, and they've got Brendan Dickinson in there playing quarterback. That guy does everything. Like,
yes.
hey, if you don't mind, just jump back there and play quarterback this week. They had 0 passes in the second half, Ravenwood.
Went to a tight end wing, and I think Coach Hester told them at halftime, look, boys, we're going to line up. We're going to play smash mouth football. We're coming downhill. I think our offensive line, I'll take them over their defensive line, and we're selling out to this.
And they did.
And they did.
Hey, let's take a look. It's that first touchdown in the second half at our WCTV play of the week.
Well, it looks like JT Smitherman is back in the backfield, number 2. And he will take the handoff up the middle, and the little guy from Ravenwood is going to score. 35 yards in a cloud of dust. The Raptors are on the board.
And it doesn't look like it matters who's going to be running the ball tonight for Ravenwood. They're going to try to go right between the tackles there for power, and that was a big-time run by JT Smitherman.
6'2", 202. I called him the little guy for some reason.
He might tower over both of us.
Absolutely he will. A fantastic run, Smitherman.
Well, and there you see it right there. Those offensive linemen kind of zone to the right, get a hat on a hat, and JT Smitherman. We've talked about this before. I love this. I think this is something that is not coached. You know, everybody likes to dance. JT Smitherman gets the ball, follows his blockers, puts his foot in the ground, got upfield. What happened? Touchdown.
There was a lot of that in the second half.
By the way, Coach Hester told me, all kidding aside, he thinks Carter Miller had 26 pancakes in that game.
Wow. If that's true, that's pretty impressive.
That's a lot. And, again, we're not talking about the county dump here. This is Independence.
Yeah, no kidding. Definitely not the county dump.
Or the country dump, whichever one.
Or the city dump.
The Donaldson dump, whichever one you want to go to. Hey, Cartua Chapman, Carter Pace, JT Smitherman, all of them with a rushing touchdown. And, yeah, I mean, and man, as being a coach, that takes discipline to say, okay, here's the deal. This is what we're going to do. And it might not, we might punt, but this is what we're going to do the entire second half, and we feel like our guys are better than our guys. And yeah, I don't think anybody saw a 2010 victory. The pundits, when the line changed late Friday, that raised some eyebrows for sure, but I still wouldn't have predicted 20-10.
And it was an 8-point, which turned out to be.
He's unbelievable. Or she. Yes. The pundit.
We don't know. We don't want to give it away.
The pundit is really good at their job.
No doubt. Joseph Cummings for Independence, another great game, 143 yards. Rummel with 55 yards receiving, 15 rushing. Ty Lockwood, listen, in the playoffs, he had 6 receptions, 61 yards. Trey Hartwell, 45 yards. I'm not saying these folks from these other regions don't do a good job, but if you look at stats and you look at guys making plays in the games, I think Lockwood will have an unbelievable game this week.
I think he will, and they're going to need him to. Joseph Cummings, those 143 yards. That was in the rain. No excuse there, but that ball had to have been heavy, slick, and against what we talked about, the 2 best corners that they had seen all year. Maybe probably the best overall secondary. And they didn't get the ball a whole lot. Ravenwood had it in the second half, so that's what it's going to take for them to Collierville. That's what it's going to take. Joseph and those receivers are going to have a big night.
Before we make our picks this week, because we're going to talk about the playoffs here as a whole, I do want to remind everyone out there, because people want to know this. The records last week, I was 6-0. Tate, Mathews, Jeremy Qualls, and the fans were all 5-1.
Where'd you make up the ground? Oh yeah, that's right. Fairview, yep.
Well, and here's the thing. You're still 4 games ahead, so it's not, you're...
We all know what you wanted to happen. You just making sure you don't lose.
Well, I'm in a 3-way tie for second with the fans and Dr. Qualls at 51 wins. You got 55. So listen, unless you just totally blow it, it would be an unprecedented choke job on your part. But I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine.
I hope. I'm a little nervous that these games, this week kind of make me a little nervous.
They are, and I've got a little strategy in terms of who picks what game.
Germantown played Coach Crawford early in the year.
I saw that. Yes, I did see that. So let's talk a little bit because listen, we talk about high school football. You're the expert. I want to talk about the brackets a little bit.
Okay.
Take a look at that three. We're going to talk about the three brackets that we're in.
Okay.
3A, 5A, 6A. The 3A bracket, I don't think it takes a genius to say Alcoa will probably come out of that top half. Do you see Giles maybe making it all the way to the semis on that part of the draw?
That's going to be. That's who it's going to be. They're really good right now. I like what they're doing. Do they stay away from Alcoa? Yes, they do.
Until the semis.
Yeah, it's Alcoa. It's Alcoa Giles. They're undefeated. Yeah. Shea McElvoy, they got a really good tailback. Coach O'Connor. You want to hear a little side note or no?
Yeah, come on.
It's different.
It's playoff.
That place like nowhere else. Coach O'Connor is the head coach. His good friend and Lincoln County teammate is Don Thomas. He's the principal. Coach Thomas, coaches the linebackers. Well, David O'Connor, the head coach, he's a unique guy for sure, he has decided he goes to the box. He sits in the box because he says he can see the field better. He's the head coach. He sits in the box and calls the plays. Coach Thomas, who is the principal of the school and the linebacker coach, he's on the sideline. He handles the players, the assistant coaches, and the referees. You ever heard of that before?
Only in small town
Now, before
America.
you say that's a clown show, they're undefeated.
Yeah. And Coach Thomas got experience as a head coach.
Coach Thomas knows how to coach. Yes, I see that happening, but it's going to be like everybody else. We got a team this year that can get them. Alcoa is going to send you home in the semis. Thanks for playing. But yes, those are the two teams that come out of that.
What teams stand out on the bottom?
Well, obviously White House. I really like them. Waverly, I like them. I think Fairview can get it going, But I would say those two, maybe East Nashville. Coach Stewart's got them really playing well, but I don't think they've seen any offenses like they'd see out of Fairview, White House, or Waverly. So
Good, really good region.
Oh yeah.
When you're talking about that Fairview region
Correct.
with those teams, White House, Waverly, Fairview.
Yeah, it's somebody good's going home early. Any one of those three can beat any one of them. I would have, up until last week, I would have said White House probably the favorite. But I don't know, man. Waverly's playing really, really well. Somebody told me, I thought this was pretty cool. Oh, Justin told me this. Waverly's going to host they don't have a field. They're hosting the playoff. They're doing it at Dixon. That's pretty cool.
Oh, that
Class
is.
move.
No doubt. I mean, there's some history there, too.
Yes.
With those teams. That's great.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's a good story.
Yeah.
What about 5A?
5A. Well, you want to start up top?
Start up top.
I think that I'm on 6A. 5A, I think you got to probably count on Powell. It's going to come down to Powell and then the winner of Sevier County, Knoxville Central. Until Sevier County overcomes them, I'm going to go with Knoxville Central. I think Powell comes out of that side, and then our side, I think we got a really good chance. I think really Henry County, it's going to come down to Henry County and Springfield on the bottom half of this, right? I think Henry County comes out of that, although don't bet against Dustin Wilson. They usually make it out of there at Springfield. I think the Nolensville-Page winner, okay, they're going to get, I don't know that Green Hill can beat Mount Juliet twice. They're either going to get Green Hill or Mount Juliet. I think if you can make it past that one, that's the one. Then you make it all the way to the state championship.
Wow.
I think quarterfinals is tougher than semis.
So if we have a Page or Nolensville matchup with Henry, you like our chances?
Yes. I think if Page can make it past Nolensville, okay, which you got to think they do, but Nolensville's welcoming the opportunity. I think Green Hill, Mount Juliet, and the way Green Hill beat Mount Juliet this past Friday night, I don't know if they can do it again. Okay, you would face them in the quarters. I think you win that one, you're going to Cookeville. Chattanooga, excuse me. Sorry, Coach Wild.
It'd be nice to have two, because I'm pretty confident now that in 6A, our final bracket, we've got a shot. Now, here's the question. I think we both agree, if you look at the top part of the bracket, it's going to be in the semis, Maryville, Oakland, but it's at Maryville. I don't know if Maryville has lost that game in the semis at home.
Yeah, I don't know. They finally got past them, but was it at Oakland a couple years ago? Is that where it was? Yeah.
I believe it was at Oakland.
So I don't know anything about them. I know they beat Alcoa, and they're undefeated. This Oakland team's got wins against CPA. They've got wins against Lipscomb, Riverdale. To get there, they're going to have to beat Riverdale again. But yeah, that's going to be a great game. But until somebody beats Oakland, I'd say this: we think we're making it, right? Either
Yes.
one of our teams. I want to see one of our teams against Oakland and not Maryville.
Because Oakland has this reputation of,
That's right.
I'd like to see that too.
I'd love.
But I've got a sneaky suspicion it's going to be Maryville.
It's at their
Because
place.
it would be at Maryville.
Yeah, and those kids are.
They
used
don't
to
lose. They don't lose at home, man.
They don't lose. That's right.
Not at home.
But this Oakland, and here's the deal: this Oakland team's better skill-wise, but they're not as good on the front, offensive front, as they were last year. They had some dudes on the front last year, but we all know this. The bottom line is there's a lot of things I think could happen in our side. Summit's the overwhelming favorite, but it's not. I think this is tougher than the other one. It's either Maryville or Oakland.
There's no question. No question about that.
Didn't you tell me there was a 1-9 team in there somewhere?
Yeah, we've spotted a couple of those.
1-7.
Warren County, 1-7. I bet they're excited to play Oakland.
If Oakland can make it past that, then I think they got a shot.
Well, you look at the bracket, there's a couple of those. 1 win here, 2 wins here. It's just one of those things that happen based on the region. Now, let's look at the bottom of the bracket.
Yep.
So let's talk about the top portion of the bottom. Right?
Hendersonville's going to make it.
Hendersonville or Beach, right?
That's done. Henderson.
Oh.
Hendersonville's good.
I'll pick Beach in that one. Just
I know
'cause,
you will.
I've got some loyalties to.
I hope that one makes it in there. That'll give me a leg up.
No, we won't put that in the picks. We're not picking that.
It's Hendersonville or Beach. How about that?
So let's
Are they
talk
doing
about
some blasting today.
let's talk about the bottom of the bracket. Summit Houston, Germantown Brentwood, winners match up. Whitehaven Ravenwood, Independence Collierville, winners match up. Can we sweep?
Yes, but it's going to be tough on Independence for 2 reasons. One, Collierville, the number 1 seed. They do some things that Independence doesn't really match up well with defensively. And we all know, man, that's not easy to get on that Greyhound or whatever, whichever line we're taking and go to Memphis, man. It's just not easy. We can, but it would be, I think it would be one heck of an accomplishment if we did. The thing I look at it, the thing I take out of all that is I think Ravenwood got the raw end of the deal. Whitehaven, man, they ended up in the 3rd place, and that's not who I'd want to see in the first round.
Yeah, if you look at the scores and the way they're trending, Whitehaven, that's tough.
Yes.
It's definitely tough.
That guy's been there. And they've actually, won a couple. I mean, that guy knows what he's doing. He will have them. It's us against the world.
And it'll feel that way when they come
It'll
here.
feel that way. Now, the good thing is Ravenwood's got history with them. Coach Hester knows what that's about. He knows exactly what to expect out of Whitehaven. So I think they'll be fine, but I think that's a tough game. And in Germantown, with what happened last year with the pandemic, I got this from Coach Crawford. They played him earlier in there. Germantown can run the ball. So I think that's a good thing Brentwood got them. I think they match up a little bit better. But Germantown can run the ball. Let's just say this. With what happened with the pandemic last year in Shelby County, people fled from some of those schools. Germantown does not look like the Germantown you and I remember. Does that make sense? Coach Hester kind of alluded to that at game day. They're a little bit faster than they used to be.
A little different situation. Yeah. Hey, so let's talk about this. Let's make it official in the picks. I'm going to go first.
Okay.
Number 3, Fairview at Smith County. Number 2 coming in at 5-5. They've got the 90-mile drive to Smith County. It won't matter. I'm going Fairview.
I'm with you. Coach Matt Dyer's done a really good job at Smith County his first year there. That thing was in shambles. He's done a great job. But I'm with you, man. I think Fairview's going to go up there and get that win. That's not an easy place to play. You're probably not going to get the calls, but Coach Hughes and my man Layden Grant are going to take care of business.
4-6 Nolensville at 8-2 and number 2 seeded Station Camp. Who you got, Tate?
This is a tough one, man. It's really tough because I think Nolensville is playing really hard and playing really well, and I think they're going to score some points. And I was going to pick them, but this is a competition, and I know you're going to pick them. And I saw Station Camp. I don't know what happened to Station Camp. I saw them because they played on a Thursday night. I saw them play Mount Juliet, and the team I saw doesn't get beat by the Portland Panthers and 48-0 to Green Hill.
I feel you're out loud doubting yourself.
I'm trying to talk myself into making a pick. I don't know what it is. You know what? We're going to make the picks interesting. I'm going to go with the Bison.
And I'm
Sorry,
go-
Coach Derek.
And I'm going Nolensville.
I
and
knew you would.
And I confidently say Nolensville. Game 3, Page versus Wilson Central. Now, before we just write this in as an automatic win, Wilson Central at 6-4 gave Lebanon, 6A Lebanon, their only loss of the year. I think that's more of a indication of the level of that region maybe and who they've played. I think Page dominates.
They've played some people well. They have. I don't know what that is either because it doesn't make sense.
Those teams would make me nervous.
Wilson Central would make me nervous. Here's what I think. Nobody's done it yet, and Wilson Central ain't going to do it. They're not slowing Jake McNamara down in his arsenal of wide receivers. So I'm going with Page.
Number 4 Independence travels to number 1 Collierville, 10-0 Collierville. Closest game they've played is an 18-point win. Collierville's averaging 40 points a game. Who do you have, Tate, in that one?
This is another one where I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I make this interesting. I think Collierville's too big, too strong, too good. I love what Coach Blade's done, as usual, with this team, but I'm going with Collierville.
Regretfully, I agree. I'm going to go Collierville on this one. Brentwood, number 3, at number 2 Germantown. They've got to get on the bus, but when they get back on the bus, they're going to have 6 straight wins and 7 of their last 8. I'm going Brentwood.
I'm with you. I like this Brentwood team. 5 straight wins, playing really, really well. The only game they shouldn't have lost that they did, we're not even going to talk about. They learned from it. They've gotten better. I'm going with Brentwood. I really like what Coach Finch has going on with the offense. Got a lot of firepower right now. And it got an experienced senior quarterback who can play the position. It's big.
Ravenwood versus Whitehaven. You talked about Whitehaven having a good team. You'd be nervous. That guy's won games. Who are you picking?
I'm going Ravenwood. My man, Chris Parson, is back. You got to take one thing away, and the problem with him is you take one away, he beats you with the other. I'm going Ravenwood.
Ravenwood, and I'm going to add this to it. It's a blessing in disguise he didn't play. I think it gives them even more confidence in the offensive line and the running game. I think that pays dividends moving forward. Does it mean they can beat Summit in week 2 or in the quarterfinals? Maybe, maybe not, but I think it gives them a shot. I'm going Ravenwood, and I think Ravenwood trending in the right direction.
Oh, he thinks they are.
I agree with him. And then the last one, obviously, we're both picking Summit over Houston.
I think this is, and I'm excited about it, because the only thing better than Popcorn City.
Are you reaching for that hat?
Well, I got to do it tomorrow, next Sunday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, don't matter. Doesn't matter what day it is. The only thing better than Popcorn City is playoff Popcorn City.
Oh, yeah. It's always fresher.
Thanks for playing, Houston.
Tate, it's exciting. I think this time next week we're going to be talking about another state championship, and we'll be talking about round 2 of the playoffs. And to me, now this is just me, I think round 2, 2 and 3 are the most exciting.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I really do.
Yeah. They're games that are usually familiar, and they're usually pretty close. So, yeah.
And we're usually playing each other.
That's right. That's always
exciting.
nice. Yeah, I think we got some great games coming. I think we got a really good chance to get 2 to Chattanooga, and maybe even 3, man. That'd be a first. We've had 2 before. We've never had 3. Boy, wouldn't that be special?
It'd be special. Hey, and I want to say this before we go off the air. Listen, shout out to Lance, Creed, Michael. They bailed us out at the game day. They were there to to take care of business game day for us. So really do appreciate them. Appreciate the folks at Spring Tree Media and what they've done with Jacob and Chris. So that's very much appreciated, not only what they did this past week, but really what the folks here at WCTV do every week for us.
Every week, year long. They were great. They never disappoint. And let me say this. I'm glad you brought this up. I meant to mention it earlier, and I want Dr. Patton, Nikki Patton, as we know, she always brings it, and she brought it. It was awesome. Very proud of Mrs. Harry. She was very great.
Great.
I think that's cool that Dr. Vaden lets her assistant principals do it some, but she was great. She did not back down, but we tried to warn her, don't poke the bear. She got Dr. Patton riled up, and that was my favorite part of the whole show.
Hey, and listen, something that we let slip somehow. Last week's Sports Connection was show number 600.
We're the Simpsons of sports entertainment.
It's unbelievable, man. 600 shows. I think during my first year there, pretty quickly, it was show 500. So
It's amazing, really.
here's to 600 more, Tate.
We're allowed to do this now.
Absolutely.
At some point, we got to have a best of.
You got a what? Oh, best.
We got to
of.
have a best of, yeah.
I think so too. Appreciate you being here as always.
You too, man. I can't wait to see who wins the Mike Bobo quarterback of the week from this Friday night. We got a lot of great quarterbacks.
No question. And thank you for joining us this week and every week. And we'll see you next time on Sports Connection.